Okay, so we're going to go through 2 ways to prevent or counter the armbar. The first one, very common, that we all know already, and that is to lock the hands as soon as humanly possible. If you're leaving the hands open, they're going to pull back, and it's just not realistic because really you should be tapping straight away. So first thing you always want to do is lock the hands. Whether it's an S grip or a gable grip, doesn't really matter, just lock them up. First one, I am sure that we have all done a million times, and that is to pin our opponent. So for this one, normally when I see it done, it's locking the hands and it's turning in until we get to a point where we can pin the shoulders down. The problem I see with this is, from here, it's not really a super tight lock for me. And I see that it's always just a little bit clunky, the shoulder's always up, and then you kind of have to fix it. So I'm just going to show you a way to make it a little bit more tight from the beginning so that you can get to this stacked pinning position. And that is to grab your own bicep and then hook their leg. So one hand on the bicep, one hand on the leg. Feel free to start with the gable or S grip, but then as soon as you can, slide up like you're giving his arm a rear naked choke, and then from there grab the leg. This will just keep everything in tighter together for the pin. Second thing is to use momentum. So I always like to go one way and then reverse. So I'm going to go the opposite way and then use that momentum to drive up, and then I stick my outside leg here on the outside just to give myself a little bit more strength and base. In grappling, this is normally the position where we make it super uncomfortable so that we can get the arm out. But as this is pro wrestling, we go into a pin. Once the shoulders are down, we're good.
I should also mention that you can actually raise your other leg instead if you like. If doing so, place your knee behind their tailbone, and that'll also keep their body stacked up high for the pin, or if you want to remove your arm. However, I personally find that raising my outside leg and putting it close to their head does give me a little more stability when I am going for that pin attempt.
This is also a nice transition to a submission. So if I want to attack the legs, I've already kind of broken the leg open a little. Normally we'll attack the left leg in wrestling. So if I wanted to, I could stand up completely with both feet. And then if I can remove this leg from the equation, so if I'm here, if I transfer my hand and push away, now I have his leg handy. So if I wanted to go into a half crab, a heel hook, step over toe hold, there's heaps of options from there. Okay, so that's the first way, stack and pin. The second way is something in grappling, they often call it hitchhiker escape. I'll tell you why in a second, but we're going to make it a little more pro wrestling style. So with the armbar, this is the complete opposite. So instead of driving towards them, I'm actually going to drive the other way. And the hitchhiker escape in submission grappling is called that because there's the thumb, like a hitchhiker, and normally before they can even lock in the armbar, before we even lock our hands, the first thing we do is we get our thumb out and point it to the ground. And kind of like Homer Simpson doing the running man on the ground, that's kind of what we do. All right, so we're going the opposite way. Thumb goes down, we kind of run our feet out to here. And in grappling, normally we would then reverse the direction because they're going to keep that locked in. But we want to end up in a submission here. So when we do this, I'm going to show you a way that we can guarantee the submission. So from this position, instead of just putting the arm down and walking around, I'm going to put my opposite arm over the top. And maybe I start with the gable. All right, they think they're in control with the armbar. I've got one over the top. Instead of releasing and going to this, I'm just going to keep it locked in tight. I'm still going to run my way around, but I'm going to continue that run until they get to their stomach. All right, so you've really got to drive through a little bit more with this one because you've got this locked in. So you're going to drive, don't let go, keep that locked in. And now I can start to remove my arm, and I now have their legs at my mercy. So if I want to go into like a figure 4 lock from here, I can. and it's kind of already in a good position. My body's already over the top, so I'm keeping them down. You can go to there. If I wanted to transfer to a different body part, I could always keep that locked in. I could move around to the front and then start targeting some arms while I keep my body pushed against the leg to trap that. There's heaps of options from there.
If you want to see more videos like this, click on the subscribe button, spread the word, and if you have any questions or requests for World Beater Wrestling, don't be afraid to comment below.